Hi, welcome back to Logan Simmons Photography. Great to have you here again. And today I want to talk about a controversial topic, and that is the latest version of Adobe Lightroom CC, the version that's in the cloud, that's not storing your photos on your desktop hard drive necessarily. So why did I switch? That's what we're going to talk about today. We'll talk about some of the advantages that I see and why I think most people, for most people, this is the best thing to do. But before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed there to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you know when a new video is out. And once you watch the video, make sure you hit that like button there. Helps us out a lot. And comment down below. Let us know what you think about the video or the product or what have you. Put it down there. So I've got the new version of Adobe Lightroom CC open on my computer here. I'll show it to you here in a moment. But I did want to discuss, why did I do this? What encouraged me to do it? And basically it was my hard drive was starting to fill up with a lot of photos, and I asked myself, do I want to add a second hard drive, an external drive, continue using what I've used in the past that occasionally has backup issues? There might be multiple versions. There's one on an external drive. There's a different version up on some cloud backup service. So I thought, let's go ahead and give this a try. And now that I've done it, I really do see the advantage of it, and I want to show you here why. Let's go ahead and open up. This is the basically the home page here for the Adobe Lightroom Cloud service. Now, I haven't uploaded many shoots. In fact, I'm not going to move my entire library up there just for ease, and it would take forever to upload the entire thing. But you'll see right here, these are some of the recent things here. I've decided just to name these albums by date, kind of like I used to do. So you got some recent things right here, and oftentimes they'll put tutorials or new messages right here. I don't particularly like that, but not too bad there. What I find the best way to do is go over to the library right here, and of course you can do some searches, but you'll see here I can search all my photos by date. If I tagged people, I can do that. But I can also see my albums right here. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to work on this July 3rd album right here. I can just click those books to make that go away. Let me go ahead and I'll go back to this page. And this is basically, the pictures that I took on that particular shoot that evening. I do have it arranged by stars in this case. So we're going to go ahead and work on this 3-star image right here. It's very similar to Adobe Lightroom Classic as far as the editing interface goes. Same as Adobe Camera Raw. So I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail about it, but just know they are equivalent. It's not like back in the day where Lightroom CC, the cloud version a couple years ago, didn't have the same editing tools. They weren't as sophisticated as the Lightroom Classic or Adobe Camera Raw. One thing I will say, maybe some of the cataloging features aren't quite as sophisticated as Lightroom on the desktop, the Classic version, but for me, coming from Bridge and Camera Raw, that's not too much of a concern for me. Maybe for you, but for me, I think this is sufficient. So let's go and do a couple edits, and I want to show you how this cloud syncing actually works. So let's not do too much here because it's not primarily about the editing. In fact, if you do want to see my review of Adobe Camera Raw, the interface, you can click up there on YouTube, watch that, see how the new editing interface works. But let's go ahead and I'm going to do a quick little correction there of the horizon. Maybe I'll change to Adobe Vivid there, make it a little, pop just a little bit more. I might increase the saturation of my blues there, maybe make them a little bit more purple. I'm just trying to think here. Maybe go ahead and do a tint and maybe a little bit of contrast, and we'll scroll down here and do a little bit of clarity as well. So again, very quick interface, definitely not sluggish like Lightroom Classic can be. So let's go ahead and click away here from that and go back to my main photo. Let me direct your attention up here. See how it says syncing one photo? And what that basically means is it's not necessarily uploading the entire photo in the cloud. That's already been done, but it's syncing the settings, the actual edits I've actually done there. So what I can do now is move over to a different computer that happens to be signed into my Lightroom or Adobe Creative Cloud account, or even a mobile phone or tablet. And that's what I want to go ahead and do now. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Lightroom CC on my iPhone, and we're actually going to edit the same photograph and see how long it takes and how advantageous it is to have basically editing available anywhere immediately. So let me go ahead and pull that up, and just give me a second and we'll be right back with that. Okay, so I do have now Lightroom CC open up on the iPhone here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to that 3-star image again, and you can see I've gone in here and actually arranged them by stars, but there's all sorts of ways you can sort images in Lightroom CC, both on the desktop and on the iPhone. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that same image, and I'm just going to do a very quick little thing. I'm going to go over to Profile here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and hit Adobe Monochrome and kind of make it black and white, let's say here, just for the sake to see how this actually works. So I'm going to go in here and say, add light, maybe a little bit more contrast there, and let's go over to effects and say, let's even make it a little bit more clear. Again, not too much we're going to go ahead and do, but I'm going to go ahead and hit back here, and we'll go back to that, and it's going to actually go ahead and sync over to our desktop here. So let's go ahead and see kind of how long this takes for it to get updated. We just did the edit on the iPhone to send it over to black and white. So I'm going to actually go ahead and just kind of get out of this here. Let me go back to home. I've noticed it does take a moment for it to refresh. So I'm just going to see exactly how long. I'm going to try and go back to my phone and make it do that sync right here. There we go. Come on, thingamajigger there. There we go. I think it's syncing right now. And let's see if I can make the desktop do the same thing here. Okay, so we're back in here. It took about a minute or so. You may notice it's a little bit awkward. Obviously, most people aren't doing this on video, but it took about a minute, and that's probably sufficient. I mean, we're probably not going to be instantly necessarily going from an iPad to a desktop. Maybe you are, but again, it's not going to take that long. It will take a minute for the servers to talk to each other and stuff like that. So you can see now, as I go back to this image here, I can go ahead and, let's say I want to make it, back to color. I can go ahead and do that, or I think we're using Adobe Vivid. But again, so it was fairly easy, fairly quick, works really, really well. And I can access, again, this from anywhere on, if I'm on the other side of the world, only have a phone, I can do that. It's there. When I come home, it's already available on my desktop here. So to me, this is really the way to edit. And I indicated that I think for most people, this is the best way to do it. And I think if it's even if you're resistant to it, probably we're going to be forced into this sooner rather than later. And the reason for that is I've noticed that as I start using this, I just don't see how we can continue to rely on photos available on local disk drives forever and having to do some sort of backup solution, which is kind of clumsy. I really see why, us and Adobe, we would really be putting up with this for much longer. So I suspect, although I know Adobe hasn't said this, I do suspect Lightroom Classic eventually is going to be, shut down. We're eventually going to have to move over to the cloud. Or I imagine you can probably still use Bridge and Photoshop and Adobe Camera Raw without too many problems. But, again, that's some limiting catalog stuff. There's organization's a little bit difficult. So now here's the $10 million question. How much does it cost? And basically it starts at the moment, we're filming this in July of 2020. It starts at $9.99 a month. So, and this is US dollars. So US listeners, if you're overseas, it might be a little bit different, obviously. For $9.99 a month, you have two options. You can get Adobe Lightroom CC, the cloud version only. So no Classic, no Photoshop. And this is in their photographer plan. There'll be some links down below. That's $9.99 a month. It comes with Adobe Lightroom CC Cloud version and 1 terabyte of storage. Your other option for the $9.99 a month is to get Photoshop, Lightroom Classic, and the Lightroom CC Cloud program, but that only comes with 20 gigabytes of storage, but that is also the $9.99 per month, okay? Now, what I have, because I still like to use Photoshop, I do have a plan with Photoshop, Lightroom Classic, and Lightroom CC, even though I don't use the Classic version. Now, as I said, I've just started using this, so I haven't needed more than 20 gigabytes of storage. But when I do need that, which will be fairly soon, I'm going to have to pay another $9.99 a month for a 1 terabyte plan of storage. So basically, until I start having a lot more than a terabyte of photos, which I don't, and I don't shoot huge raw files. I actually shoot primarily with 12 megapixel cameras. Still, I know that's a little bit long in the tooth, but you'd be surprised how good these raw processors are these days. It's going to cost me $19.99 per month. So that's probably going to be the going rate for a while. Now, a lot of us probably were already paying $9.99 a month for having a Photoshop, Lightroom, and depending on what combo you have there. So I don't think $19.99 a month is too much of a stretch, especially considering what you're getting, instant backup. I am still keeping my original RAW files backed up just in case something catastrophic happens to Adobe, because that's the way I am. But maybe you could argue I don't need that either, but it depends on you. So again, that is my little quick overview of the transition to Adobe Lightroom Cloud CC, and I definitely think it's worth checking it out. So check those links down there below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that like button if you do like what you saw, and let me know what your comments are down below. What do you think of the transition? Is it too soon? Are you never going to do it? Are you already there? Let me know down below the comments, and thanks very much for watching. You have a good one. Bye-bye.